Now, the thing about life is that one loses perspective, and one thinks that there's something going on, and one thinks that they're a person, and one feels a sense of separation. It's a temporary phenomenon, and it's got nothing to do with reality, but this is the show. This is the dream. And in order for the dream to function, there has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's how dreams work. So you have this story and you call it your life. But I can't help but noticing that even though you're living in this story, people don't tend to want to think about the end of the story, the end of their story. In other words, death. So I remember when Ramesh came to Maui, we took him up on a helicopter ride to see the whole island. You know, it was great. It was really a lot of fun. And Ramesh, I was sitting next to him, and he was sitting there a lot of the time with his eyes closed. And I asked him, so what were you thinking about, Ramesh? And he goes, I was just thinking if the plane crashed and how nice it would be to just be done. And I thought that was a really strange thing to say. But you see, I understand now. That's a calming thing. So this life is just there's so much going on. There's this and there's that, there's this and there's that, there's this and there's that. And sometimes it gets tiring, and you long for that peace, that stillness, you see. So just without the distraction of this body-mind. So I understand now. You see, one of the things about, one of the side effects of this enlightenment is that there is no fear of death. There's really no personal fear whatsoever, but certainly no fear of death. And you see, most people, they don't want to look at death. Everyone knows they're going to die, but just not in their lifetime, right? It's an odd thing. But people don't want to look at it. People don't want to plan for it. People don't want to talk about it. But I think it's good to be holding it with you always. Have it in your front pocket so that you can keep your perspective on things. Okay. Sorry for the technical interruption. You see, if you can carry death with you in your daily, then you can walk through life with perspective that this is just a temporary thing. What's going on here is just a temporary experience, a temporary virtual reality where there appears to be you as a person doing things, saying things, thinking things. All of that is going on. But while you're in it, and while you're involved with yourself as a person, you forget that it's temporary. You think this is what it is, this is it. But this is not it. This is not it. If you believe in reincarnation, then you've been born countless times prior. And each time you thought it was it. But it wasn't. What remains from those lifetimes? Maybe an impression somewhere, maybe a scratch in one of your genes, you know? Maybe a sentence in a history book. Unlikely, though. Most of the lives are totally forgotten. When you're in the life, and you're involved in the life thinking that it's you, it takes on a proportion which is much bigger than it deserves. I mean, look at it now. There's billions of lives, billions of them. Right now, human lives, billions, all going on. And everyone thinks that they're a person. And really, when you boil it down, everyone thinks that they are the most important person. You see? And they give all of their attention to themselves, to their thoughts, to their feelings, to their actions. It's really funny when you look at it. There's billions of people just focused on that little dust speck that we call a body-mind. And they're just focused on that. That's all they see. That's all they think. That's all they do. And it's like everything is just wrapped around this tiny little dust speck, which they have made important, which they have made real. But all of it is really nothing. You can tell it's nothing. These bodies, they're not that big. You get up in a plane, you go and you look out of the window, and you see the little people. They get so tiny you can't see them anymore. But you can see their houses, and you can see their buildings, and then they get so tiny you can't see them anymore. You can see some mountains. You can see some outlines of cities, maybe some freeways somewhere. All this is nothing. And even that which you see on this planet, even though the body is a dust speck, the planet is a dust speck. You don't have to go far in outer space until this planet is totally invisible. It's so small, and yet you have made, through your attention on your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, you have made this body seem big and substantial. But it's not substantial. It's not substantial. There's billions of them. And they all come and go. That's all they're doing, is coming and going. One's being born, one's dying. They just come and go. And all of this is very, very, very small phenomenon within the vastness of what is, which is infinite, isn't it? So, keep the perspective throughout your days that this life will come and go. And where will you be then? Where will you be when the body's gone? Where were you before the body was born? And what is your relationship to this body anyway? If one is lucky, they can rest in the stillness of what is. And in that stillness, it is so vast that it cannot be comprehended. It's not anything that can be perceived correctly by a body-mind. There are experiences that happen, but that's not what it is. What it is infinite. And infinity is far too large for a mind, because minds require boundaries for understanding and for perceiving. They require distinctions, you see. And that which is beyond all distinctions. But it's here, and it's here right now, And it's always been here, and it could never, it has to be here. It's all that's here. This, all that's happened is the attention has become focused upon a dust speck, and its thoughts and feelings and distinctions and boundaries and all of this, and it makes a story. And you see, the mind loves stories. So the mind's very attracted to it. The mind is very attracted, not only attracted, it's attached to the body. You see? So the body is born, and there's just this sense of being. And as the mind develops, it becomes a sense of presence, a sense of I am, and that builds. And then the mind, through its ability to distinguish things, starts adding things to that I am. You're given a name, you have a body, you take actions, you have thoughts, you have feelings, you do things. It's like all these things are added on, and then you get lost in all of these distinctions, you see. But it's really just the mind being self-absorbed with itself. That's why they call it an ego. It's really just the mind simply being obsessed with the mind. And in so doing, the sense of peace, which is not personal, you see, but that sense of just everything, all one, it just is forgotten. It's just forgotten in the distinctions that the mind is pulling up. You see, so what I'm recommending is get your perspective, keep your perspective. This is just a story. You have made it your story, but it's not your story. It's a body-mind story. And since the mind loves stories, it has the power to absorb all of your attention. But it would be better if your attention were absorbed in the stillness and oneness that is, in fact, everywhere all of the time. The only thing is that because this stillness and oneness has no distinctions, the mind can't find it. I know the mind is seeking something. Spiritual seekers are looking for something. They want to know that peace. They want to know that stillness. They want to know that connection, that oneness with God. You see? But there's no distinction there. So the mind will not be able to take you there. But it is here. And if the mind were just still for one moment, if you had like a mind switch, like a light switch, and you could just flip it down, all that would be is the presence. All there would be is that sense of oneness, connection with everything, without anyone being connected. So, while you're in the sense of identity, let's get perspective and know that all of these lives, all the billions of lives, have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They will all end. So, keep the perspective, because you don't want to spend your entire life absorbed in a story that's not even yours, that's going to end soon anyway. Why would you want to do that? When in fact, that which is everywhere. And it's beckoning to you, really. It's just that you can't get there, because the true you that you are is already there. And the you that is pretending to be who you are, it's not possible for that It doesn't have the equipment to perceive what that is. You can intellectualize what I'm saying. You can put what I'm saying into concepts. And certainly that's what I did when I was in your chair. But none of the concepts are going to be correct, because that which is not you can't conceptualize it. It's too big for that. In any case, more and more through your days, remember, this body-mind has an expiration date. And then, where will you be? Really, look at that. So you keep your perspective and don't lose yourself in involvement with yourself as a person, because you are not a person. The essence of what you are is everything and is always present. So, we come here for this reminder, you see. This is a reminder of home. And that's the benefit of satsang. That was the benefit of hanging out, in my experience, with my gurus, because I could feel that essence around them. I didn't understand it. I tried to understand it, and I experienced it as love, and I experienced it as stillness. I remember, coming up to Baba, and within 50 feet of him, my mind would stop. So, more and more, let your mind stop. And when the mind is diminished enough, you see, right now, you're involved with your mind, you're involved with being a person. But when you can see that none of this is substantial, it starts to diminish. And as it diminishes, you can return to that stillness easily. Easily. It's just that your attention has been diverted into this mind obsessing with itself. When the mind is diminished, that which is becomes obvious. So continue and just see it for what it is. See all this for what it is. It's just an appearance in consciousness. It's nothing more than that. It's just an appearance. It comes and it goes. Everything here comes and goes. But that which is the essence of who you are, the supreme reality, it doesn't change. It doesn't come and go. It's all there ever was. It's all there ever is. So, that's your reminder for today.